Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate
Om Namo
Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Om
Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama-shloke Bhaktir-bhavati Naishtiki Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna-preshthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti-vedanta Swamin-niti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम
Hare Rama, Hare
राम
Rama,
राम
Rama
हरे
Rama,
हरे
Hare Hare.
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय श्रीमद्
Jai,
भगवद गीता एज इट इज की जय श्रील
Jai,
प्रभुपाद की जय समवेत
Jai,
गौर भक्त वृंद की जय
Jai.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for All session. So I would like to invite Jai Lakshmi Mataji and Saumya
Hare
Varjit. Okay,
Krishna Mataji, Pranam Mataji.
Pranam.
Hare
Welcome.
Krishna. Sadat Pranamal Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji,
Pranam Mataji. Thank
for
you.
joining me, for joining us in your group. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you. You're welcome, Mataji. You're most welcome.
Thank you, Mataji.
So now, so Matajis are from Tirupati in India, and they had attended Shastra Praman course and also Gita Sararthalesha course of Venugopal Prabhu. And now they're joining us, actively involved in temple services there. So now let's begin. What we were doing in the past few days is we were reciting 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita and also discussing, mainly the objective is to understand the flow of the chapter. One second, it's a different one. And after that, we will discuss Srimad Bhagavatam. We were also reciting prayers from Srimad Bhagavatam. We recited Kunti Maharani's prayers and Bhishma Stuti. But I think we are falling short of time to do everything within 1.5 hours. So I'm thinking let's do Srimad Bhagavatam first. I mean, after Bhagavad Gita, we'll do Srimad Bhagavatam. And if time permits, we can do the prayers. I will have to see because we are getting really less time to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam as I'm seeing. By the time we finish Bhagavad Gita and the prayers, we are not getting sufficient time to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam. So anyway, let's start with Bhagavad Gita first. So we'll recite the verses up to, so we came up to the point where Krishna is discussing about the 4 varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Until there, we will first recite the verses. I will leave the translations for you in case you need help with that. So this is Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. So you can recite along with me, keeping yourselves in mute. Arjuna uvacha sannyasasya mahabaho tatvam ichchami veditum त्यागस्य च हृषिकेश पृथक् केशी निषूदना. श्रीभगवानुवाच काम्यानां कर्मणां न्यासं सन्न्यासं कवयो विदुः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं प्राहुस्त्यागं विचक्षणाः. त्याज्यं दोषवद् इत्येके कर्म प्राहुर्मनीषिणः यज्ञदान तपः कर्म न त्याज्यम् इति चापरे. निश्चयं शृणु मे तत्र त्यागे भरतसत्तमा त्यागो हि पुरुषव्याघ्र त्रिविधः सम्प्रकीर्तितः. यज्ञदानतपः कर्म न त्याज्यं कार्यमेव तत् यज्ञो दानं तपश्चैव पावनानि मनीषिणाम्. एतान्यपि तु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलानि च कर्तव्यानीति मे पार्थ निश्चितं मतमुत्तमम्. नियतस्य तु सन्न्यासः कर्मणो नोपपद्यते मोहात् तस्य परित्यागस्तामसः परिकीर्तितः. दुःखम् इत्येव यत्कर्म कायक्लेशाभयात् त्यजेत् स कृत्वा राजसं त्यागं नैव त्यागाफलं लभेत्. कार्यम् इत्येव यत्कर्म नियतं क्रियतेऽर्जुन सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलं चैव स त्यागः सात्विको मतः. न द्वेष्ट्य कुशलं कर्म कुशलेनानुषज्यते त्यागी सत्त्वसमाविष्टो मेधावी छिन्न संशयः. न हि देहभृता शक्यं त्यक्तुं कर्माण्यशेषतः यस्तु कर्म फलत्यागी स त्यागीत्यभिधीयते. अनिष्टम् इष्टं मिश्रं च त्रिविधं कर्मणः फलं भवत्यत्यागिनां प्रेत्य न तु सन्न्यासिनां क्वचित्. पञ्चैतानि महाबाहो कारणानि निबोध मे सांख्ये कृतान्ते प्रोक्तानि सिद्धये सर्वकर्मणाम्. I'll do that again. पञ्चैतानि महाबाहो कारणानि निबोध मे सांख्ये कृतान्ते प्रोक्तानि सिद्धये सर्वकर्मणाम्. अधिष्ठानं तथा कर्ता करणं च पृथग्विधम् विविधाश्च पृथक् चेष्टा दैवं चैवात्र पञ्चमम्. शरीरवान् मनोभिर्यत् कर्म प्रारभते नरः न्यायं वा विपरीतं वा पञ्चैते तस्य हेतवः. तत्रैवं सति कर्तारम् आत्मानं केवलं तु यः पश्यत्यकृतबुद्धित्वान् न स पश्यति दुर्मतिः. यस्य नाहङ्कृतो भावो बुद्धिर्यस्य न लिप्यते हत्वापि स इमान् लोकान् न हन्ति न निबध्यते. ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं परिज्ञाता त्रिविधा कर्म चोदना करणं कर्म कर्तेति त्रिविधः कर्म संग्रहः. ज्ञानं कर्म च कर्ता च त्रिधैव गुणभेदतः प्रोच्यते गुणसंख्याने यथावत् शृणुतान्यपि. सर्वभूतेषु येनैकं भावम् अव्ययमीक्षते अविभक्तं विभक्तेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि सात्विकम्. पृथक्त्वेन तु यज्ज्ञानं नानाभावान् पृथग्विधान् वेत्ति सर्वेषु भूतेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि राजसम्। यत्तु कृत्स्नवद् एकस्मिन् कार्ये सक्तम् अहैतुकम् अतत्त्वार्थवद् अल्पं च तत्तामसम् उदाहृतम्। नियतं सङ्गरहितम् अरागद्वेषतः कृतम् अफलप्रेप्सुना कर्म यत्तत् सात्विकमुच्यते। यत्तु कामेप्सुना कर्म साहङ्कारेण वा पुनः क्रियते बहुलायासं तद्राजसम् उदाहृतम्। अनुबन्धं क्षयं हिंसाम् अनपेक्षा च पौरुषं मोहाद् आरभ्यते कर्म यत्तत् तामसमुच्यते। मुक्तसङ्गो न संवादी धृत्युत्साहसमन्वितः सिद्ध्यसिद्ध्योर्निर्विकारः कर्ता सात्विक उच्यते। रागी कर्मफलप्रेप्सुर्लुब्धो हिंसात्मको शुचिः हर्षशोकान्वितः कर्ता राजसः परिकीर्तितः। अयुक्तः प्राकृतः स्तब्धः शठो नैष्कृतिको लसः विषादी दीर्घसूत्री च कर्ता तामस उच्यते। बुद्धेर्भेदं धृतेश्चैव गुणतस्त्रिविधं शृणु प्रोच्यमानम् अशेषेण पृथक्त्वेन धनञ्जय। प्रवृत्तिं च निवृत्तिं च कार्याकार्ये भयाभये बन्धं मोक्षं च या वेत्ति बुद्धिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी। यया धर्मम् अधर्मं च कार्यं चाकार्यमेव च अयथावत् प्रजानाति बुद्धिः सा पार्थ राजसी। अधर्मं धर्मम् इति या मन्यते तमसावृता सर्वार्थान् विपरीतांश्च बुद्धिः सा पार्थ तामसी। धृत्या यया धारयते मनः प्राणेन्द्रियक्रियाः योगेनाव्यभिचारिण्या धृतिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी। यया तु धर्मकामार्थान् धृत्या धारयते अर्जुन प्रसंगेन फलाकांक्षी धृतिः सा पार्थ राजसी। यया स्वप्नं भयं शोकं विषादं मदमेव च न विमुञ्चति दुर्मेधा धृतिः सा पार्थ तामसी। सुखं त्विदानीं त्रिविधं शृणु मे भरतर्षभा अभ्यासाद् रमते यत्र दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति। यत्तद् अग्रे विषम् इव परिणामे मृतोपमम् तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रसादजम्। विषयेन्द्रिय संयोगात् यत्तद् अग्रे मृतोपमम् परिणामे विषम् इव तत्सुखं राजसंस्मृतम्। यदग्रे चानुबन्धे च सुखं मोहनम् आत्मनः निद्रालस्य प्रमादोत्थं तत्तामसम् उदाहृतम्। न तद् अस्ति पृथिव्यां वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः सत्वं प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तं यद् एभिः स्यात् त्रिभिर्गुणैः। ब्राह्मणक्षत्रियविषां शूद्राणां च परन्तप कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि स्वभावा प्रभवैर्गुणैः। शमोदमस्तपः शौचं क्षान्तिरार्जवमेव च ज्ञानं विज्ञानम् आस्तिक्यं ब्रह्मकर्म स्वभावजम्। शौर्यं तेजो धृतिर्दाक्ष्यं युद्धे चाप्यपलायनं दानम् ईश्वरभावश्च क्षात्रं कर्म स्वभावजम्। कृषि गोरक्ष्यवाणिज्यं वैश्यकर्म स्वभावजं परिचर्यात्मकं कर्म शूद्रस्यापि स्वभावजम्। स्वे स्वे कर्मण्यभिरतः संसिद्धिं लभते नरः स्वकर्म निरतः सिद्धिं यथा विन्दति तच्छृणु। So we had discussed until that verse. So what did Krishna discuss so far? Lord Krishna told about Arjun's question was, what is Tyaga and what is Sannyasa? So Lord Krishna explained 3 types of Tyaga in the modes of goodness, passion and ignorance. Then he said, so basic difference between Tyaga and Sannyasa is, Sannyasa means giving up all fruitive activities or kamya karmas, whereas Tyaga means giving up the fruit of all types of activities, right? Sarva karma phala tyagam. So Tyaga means giving up the fruit of all activities. And then this Tyaga is of 3 types. So one gives up work out of illusion, that is Tyaga in ignorance. One gives up work out of fear of pain to the body, that is Tyaga in the mode of passion. One does his prescribed duties regularly without being affected by the pain or pleasure that comes while performing that duty. And also one who performs that duty without attachment to the result. And after he gets that result also, he gives up that result. So when one works in this consciousness, he is doing his prescribed duties in this consciousness. That is called Tyaga in the mode of goodness. So in that context, Krishna explained karma. So Krishna said, some people say that you should give up all karma because there is fault in karma. Whereas others say, no, you should not give up yagya, dana and tapa because these purify men. Now Krishna is saying, what is my opinion? My opinion is, yes, you should do yagya, dana, karma because they purify men. So the other people were saying, who are actually karma mimamsakas. Karma mimamsakas say that you should do karma because it is prescribed in Shastra and you enjoy the result. Like that the karma mimamsakas are saying. Krishna is saying you should do yagya, dana, tapa because it will purify you. So what is the purpose? The purpose is different, right? Karma mimamsakas say that you should do your karma because yagya, dana, tapa, and because it is said in the scripture and you enjoy it. Whereas Krishna is saying you should do yagya, dana, tapa because it
For
will
your own purification.
purify you. That's why you should do yagya, dana, tapa. So then we saw 3 types of tyagam. After that, Krishna said there are 5 factors which actually affect work. What are the 5 factors? Adhishtanam. Adhishtanam means the body. Karta means ahankara, false ego. Then karanam, the senses. Cheshta means the various endeavors. And finally, daivam means paramatma. Anyone who does not consider these 5 factors for the success of any action and thinks he is the only performer of activities, such a person's intelligence is not proper. It is not well developed intelligence. He is not seeing things as they are. On the other hand, one who is free from ahankara, right? He is not thinking that he is the one who is doing. Rather, these 5 factors are responsible for action. Such a person, he sees things as they are. He is not affected by auspicious and inauspicious results of an activity. Rather, he has no doubt about what is his duty. This is my duty and I have to do it. With this consciousness, he does his duty. And for such a person, even if he is killing in this world, he is actually not killing. That his karma will not bind him to this world. After saying this, then why he is doing karma? He does not want the result. Then why he is performing, and he is not even the doer? Then what is inspiring him to work? Jnanam geyam parigyata. That means the soul wants to realize the soul through this jnanam. That is why he is doing karma, because the initial first step of jnanam is nishkama karma. So you have to do nishkama karma. By that you want to realize that you are this soul. Jnanam geyam parigyata. That is his inspiration for work. Whereas if somebody is working under the influence of false ego, what is the result? Karma sangraha. He will simply accumulate karmic reaction, which will bind him. After this, Krishna explained Jnanam in goodness and goodness, passion and ignorance, karma in goodness, passion and ignorance, karta in goodness, passion and ignorance. And further, he also explains after jnanam, karma, karta, he will tell buddhi in goodness, passion and ignorance, dhriti in goodness, passion and ignorance, and again happiness in goodness, passion and ignorance. So we discussed all this in the past several days. Finally, after this section, now Krishna is saying, there is no person in this entire creation who is not affected by these three modes. There is nobody in this entire universe, in this entire creation, from Lord Brahma up to the most, insignificant ant, or from the topmost planet to the lower planets on this entire earth. Anywhere you take, even up to the demigods, nobody is unaffected by these three modes. Every Baddha Jiva is actually influenced by these three modes. So then what happens when he is influenced by these three modes? He acquires a particular svabhava. So that we discussed in the last class, how when Brahmaji is doing Visarga, secondary creation, when he is giving the bodies, subtle and gross bodies to the living entities, first when he gives Chittam to a living entity, it is pure, it's in the mode of goodness. But after Chittam is given, the karma of that living entity is installed on that Chittam, and immediately that Chittam becomes now colored by the modes, right? It's made in goodness, but now it will become contaminated or polluted by the karma of this living entity. So now either there is more passion or more ignorance, like that. So naturally, the remaining buddhi, his mind, his senses, they are also influenced by the same modes, because Chittam is the storehouse of all impressions. Based on those impressions, now his Sukshma Deha, right, and Stula Deha, they are also influenced by the same modes. Therefore, every living entity in this material world, every living entity means Baddha Jiva. Baddha Jiva means he's covered by his karma, and now he gets a subtle body and gross body. So every person has, so he's actually influenced by these modes. He has a particular svabhava. That body represents a particular svabhava. So now dharma is meant for human beings. Dharma is not meant for animals, right? Because that also we discussed in the previous class, that on this earth, this is karma bhumi. Dharma is assigned. Why? By performing this dharma, you can actually transcend these three modes. So the first step of performing dharma is to identify the svabhava of that person. Then Krishna is saying, according to this svabhava, right, there is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Then Krishna also explained what is the svabhava of a Brahmana. A Brahmana controls Shama, Dama, Tapasya, Shaucham, right? He controls his mind, controls his senses. He is austere. He is pure internally and externally. Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikyam, right? He has knowledge and also realization, like this. So these are the quality. He's honest, he's truthful. This is the svabhava of a Brahmana. Then similarly for Kshatriya, he has a svabhava, Shauryam, right? He is chivalrous, brave in battle, courageous in battle. He will never run away from the battlefield. And also Ishvara Bhavam, right? He will never go and take up service under anyone else. He will rule, he will give protection to others. So like this, this is the svabhava of a Kshatriya. And then similarly, there is Vaishya, Krishi, Goraksha, Vanijam, and Shudra means Paricharyatmakam. That means serving the other three varnas. This is the svabhava of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Then in the next verse, Krishna said, every person, after his dharma is assigned to him, if he performs his particular dharma in the mode of goodness. Mode of goodness means we already saw karma in the mode of goodness, karta in the mode of goodness, right? He performs his duty in the way it is prescribed, kramabadha, right? That means he will do in a regulated way, the way it is prescribed, and he has no doubts whether I should do or I should not do. This is my duty, this is my dharma, I will do it. He will do it throughout his life, whether it is bringing him happiness or distress, pain or pleasure, victory or defeat, profit or loss, it does not matter. He will do his duty. So if anyone does his duty, dharma, in this consciousness, then he will actually come to the mode of goodness. What happens in the mode of goodness? In the mode of goodness, you will realize that you are not this body, but you are Atma. So this is the purpose of performing our dharma. So we discussed until that point in the last class. Swe swe karmanyabhirataha samsiddhim labhate naraha. Samsiddhi. You will get perfection simply by doing your particular karma, your particular dharma. You will get perfection. Swakarma nirataha siddhim yatha vindati tachrinu. How you will get perfection by doing your own dharma? Now you listen to me. Krishna saying. यतः प्रवृत्तिर्भूतानां येन सर्वम् इदं ततं स्वकर्मणातम् अभ्यर्च्य सिद्धिं विन्दति मानवः. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. Yataha pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam swakarmanatam abhyarcha siddhim vindati manava. Yataha pravrittir bhutanam, pravritti, right? So you have your particular nature, and according to that nature, you are performing your duty by doing all living entities. But by doing this, how? By doing his own duty, one can achieve perfection. That we will see. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushtitat svabhava niyatam karma kurvan napnoti kilbisham. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha. Shreyan swadharma. Swadharma means the dharma which is assigned to you by your guru. After identifying your svabhava, according to your svabhava, the guru will decide that this is your dharma. You are a brahmana, you are a kshatriya, you are a vaishya. And based on that, then he will train you and he will give you your dharma. So to do that, that is called swadharma. Doing that swadharma, shreyan swadharma, vigunaha. Vigunaha means even if you are not very good at that work, you are doing it imperfectly, right? You are not very expert in doing that work. But your guru has identified that this is your guna, this is your nature. You are a, let's say, he identifies that you are a Vaishya. Now, even though you are not very expert in that Vaishya duties, because my guru has assigned it, I should do that work only because that is beneficial for me. Shreyan means that will bring me, auspiciousness. That is good for me. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha. Even if you are not very good at your work, to do your own work is beneficial for you. Paradharmat swanushtitat. But someone else's job, right? Not dharma which is assigned to you, but dharma which is assigned to another person. You may be very good at that. You may be very good at doing another person's dharma. Then should we do another person's dharma? No. Krishna says you should not do. You should not do, even if you are very expert. Because what will we say? We can say that oh, I am actually very good in business. Okay. And maybe I should now do, maybe I'm a Vaishya because I'm very good at doing business. So now I will switch my duties. Krishna is saying no. You may not be very good at what your guru has recognized you to be. Okay. You're not very expert in that job. And you are doing another varna's duties. You feel like you're capable, right? You're being successful in doing another's duty. So then you decide, actually, maybe my guru made a mistake. I'm not a Vaishya, right? I'm a Kshatriya. So I'll do Kshatriya's duty. Now I'll become a landlord. Krishna is saying no. Even if you're not good at your designated dharma which is given to you by your guru, even if you're not expert at that, you stick to that. That will be good for you, instead of doing someone else's job at which you may be very expert. Okay? Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushthitat. Not only that, swadharme nidhanam shreyaha. This comes in a previous, earlier in the 3rd chapter, Krishna says this. Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. In the course of performing your own duty, even if you die, for example, you're a kshatriya, by fighting a battle by fighting in a battle, even if you have to die, that's better for you than to give up your particular duty and do someone else's duty, thinking that, oh, I'm good at that. Paradharmo bhayavaha. It is dangerous to accept another's duty. Why is it dangerous to accept another's duty? What is the problem if you do someone else's duty? Sometimes materially you may get profit, right? You may be at an advantage doing someone else's duty. But what is the purpose of duty, we said? What is the purpose of doing our dharma? The purpose is Atma Sakshatkara. The purpose of dharma is not to get material prosperity. I'm getting more profit by doing Vaishya's business, so let me do a Vaishya's business. Let's say I'm a Brahmana and there is no profit, right? I'm not having, there's not enough food even in my house. So I'll do better if I opened a shop and if I did a Vaishya's business. That'll be good for me. What will happen if you change your profession or your dharma? What will happen is you will remain on the bodily platform, because there your goal of your dharma is artha. You want money, right? And with that money, naturally, then the next thing will be sense gratification. So Srimad Bhagavatam also says, first of all, you should not do your dharma. Narthorthayopakalpate. Dharmasya hyapavargyasya narthorthayopakalpate. Dharma should never be performed for the sake of artha. No, you shouldn't do dharma for the sake of artha. And even if you're doing dharma without expecting artha, naturally artha will come. When you're doing dharma, artha will come. It's natural. When you do any duty, the result will come, either in the form of money or in the form of fame or some skill, right? Some result will come. So first of all, don't do dharma for the sake of money or artha, some material result. And without your expecting, when the result comes, don't use that artha for the sake of sense gratification. Don't use your artha for kama. Whatever result you're getting, you offer it to the Lord. You don't take it for your sense gratification. Why we should do like this? By doing this, you can actually get the real result of that dharma. The real result of dharma is Atma Sakshatkara. You can use your whatever and also work only as much as it is required to keep your body and soul together. That means minimum. Sense gratification, not work, but sense gratification. Sense gratification means what? Providing sense objects to the senses. So if I provide food to my mouth, that is also called sense gratification, because my sense is being gratified, right? By that sense object. But to what extent, how much sense gratification is allowed? Only that much is allowed which will keep your body and soul together. That's all. Not for the sake of pleasure, just to continue living. Then why I should live? Bhagavatam explains why I should live. You should live tattva jigyasa, for the sake of finding out, for the sake of searching the absolute truth, for the sake of attaining the absolute truth. That's the whole purpose of human form of life. So even if you work for the sake of Atma Sakshatkaraha. Don't work for sense gratification. Don't work for wealth. And wealth will come anyway. When it comes also, don't employ it for the sake of sense gratification. Offer all that to the Lord. You accept only as much as it is required to keep your body and soul together, which in other words means keeping body, soul together means what? Living, so that you will live. And why I should live? I should live so that I can inquire about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and I can render devotional service to the Supreme Lord. This is the purpose. But if you are working, then why will you change your job? Right? If you say it is coming to a state where I'm not even able to maintain my body and soul together by doing my dharma, then what is Krishna saying? Shreyan swadharmo viguna paradharmo. Swadharme nidhanam shreya. While doing your particular dharma, even if you give up your body, if you have to give up your body while performing your duty, that is better. That is better than taking up another's dharma. Don't take up another's dharma. Why? Because if you stick to your dharma, it will bring you to sattva guna. It will bring you to the mode of goodness. And in the mode of goodness, you will realize I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul. So much importance is given to dharma, right? You should do your particular dharma. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushtitat svabhava niyatam karma. So this why you should stick to your dharma? Because this dharma is given to you according to your svabhava. Krishna already said 2 verses before. You got your svabhava based on your karma. That svabhava is there, inherent. Inherent means it is there in the subtle body. That svabhava is there. Identifying that svabhava when your dharma is determined, now doing that dharma will be natural for you because that is according to your svabhava. Svabhava niyatam karma kurvan napnoti kilbisham. Then if you do work according to your svabhava, important point is kurvan na apnoti kilbisham. You will not get any sinful reaction. This is another thing. Arjun, if you remember in the first chapter, Arjun was saying that if we kill our family members, then all the elder members of the family will be destroyed. Nobody will be there to teach what is dharma because all elder members will be destroyed. Who will teach? What are the family traditions? What are the values? Then in this way, without dharma, the women will be polluted. And then a Varna Sankara will happen. And then because of Varna Sankara, all community projects, everything will stop. In this way, and all the ancestors, because they won't be doing even offering pinda to the ancestors will go to hell. Everyone is going to go to hell if I fight this battle. This is sinful. To kill my grandfather and all the elder members who are standing on the battlefield, this is sinful, Arjun was saying. What is Krishna saying now? Because you are a Kshatriya, and for a Kshatriya to fight, Kshatriya will fight a Dharma Yuddha only, right? So for a Kshatriya to fight, he will not incur any sin. What did Krishna say in the beginning? When Arjun asked difference between Tyaga and Sannyasa, one group of people say you should not do karma, give up all karma. Why? Because karma has some dosha, some fault. Because of that fault, because karma has some fault, it will actually stop you from progressing in your spiritual life. Who says this? The Gyanis say. The Gyanis say give up all karma. Whereas the karma mimamsakas or the karmis say, no, you should not give up all karma. You should do yagya, dana and tapa because this is prescribed in scripture. You enjoy the result. You should not give up. Right? So Gyanis, here the point is Gyanis are saying you should give up karma because karma has some fault. Even when a Brahmana is doing yagya, so many insects get killed. When a Kshatriya is fighting a battle, in the battle, he has to kill so many people. This killing involves some sin. When a Vaishya is plowing the field, so many animals get killed, snakes get killed, scorpions get killed, insects get killed. So, therefore, you should not do karma. What is Krishna saying? No. He's saying, if you do karma according to your svabhava, kurvan napnoti kilbisham, you will not get any sinful reaction. That is the advantage. So here, what is the reason why you should not change your dharma? Because if you work according to your dharma, you will not incur any sinful reaction. There won't be any sinful reaction if you're working according to your dharma. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadosham api natyajet sarvarambha hi doshena dhume nagnir ivavritaha. Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. So, this verse we will discuss tomorrow. Text 48 we will discuss tomorrow. Now we will read Srimad Bhagavatam. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 5. Nanda Maharaj meets Vasudeva. So what did we read so far? So this chapter, Nanda Maharaj meeting Vasudeva, this chapter has 3 sections. We discussed this. What are the 3 sections? First section is Nanda Maharaj celebrating the birth ceremony of Krishna. How Nanda Maharaj celebrated Nandotsav. We discussed that elaborately for several weeks. Then the second section is Nanda Maharaj going to Mathura to pay taxes to Kamsa. So what he was thinking, why he wanted to go to, because he was in the middle of this festival. Nanda Maharaj was in the middle of this wonderful festival, and it was an ongoing festival. It was not just for one day. Every day was a festival. And he was giving so much charity. And because of Krishna's presence, there was so much wealth. His treasury never emptied. It was like Akshay Patra. His wealth didn't reduce at all. Rather, it was just increasing. And not just his, in the whole of Vraja. It was so opulent, it was obvious. So then Nanda Maharaj got concerned. Kamsa will come to know of this, and then he may come to kill Krishna. So therefore, Nanda Maharaj thought, before Kamsa sends his men here, let me go and pay my taxes to Kamsa. Not only pay taxes, but I will give him gifts. Many gifts I will offer to him. Thinking like this, although his heart was completely, filled with Krishna, he could not leave Krishna even for a moment. Still, for the protection of Krishna, for the sake of Krishna, he left. And what was his plan? He would leave early in the morning, pay taxes to Kamsa, and come back the same day. So he loaded one cart nicely with the taxes that he was to pay to Nanda Maharaj. So there were many gold coins, nice silk cloth, and jewels, ornaments like that, and also many milk sweets. So he loaded his ox cart, and also along with some men, cowherd men, for protection, because he's carrying so much wealth. He he set off to go to Mathura. Because if the wealth has to be protected if somebody plundered on the way. That's why. And also the ox cart was nicely protected with a shed on top. Then After reaching Mathura, Nanda Maharaj, first of all, he went to Kamsa's palace, asked to get audience because he came to pay his taxes, and immediately he got permission. He paid the taxes. And then now, after paying the taxes, he came back to where they had, halted. So they parked their ox cart somewhere on the side of the road, like that. Now, meanwhile, Vasudev got news that Nanda Maharaj is in Mathura. Nanda Maharaj has come to Mathura because Nanda Maharaj was very famous. When he came to Mathura, uh, the word soon spread around that Nanda Maharaj is here, Nanda Maharaj is here. So Vasudev also got this information. And then Vasudev, he uh, upashrutya means very, very carefully. He confirmed that actually Nanda Maharaj has come. And then he waited. First of all, when he got news that Nanda Maharaj has come, he waited until Nanda Maharaj paid off the taxes to Kamsa. Then he would go and meet him. Why Vasudev wanted to meet Nanda Maharaj? Well, one thing is Nanda Maharaj and Vasudev were brothers. We saw how Nanda Maharaj's grandfather and Vasudev's grandfather is the same, Devamida, right? But Devamida had a Kshatriya wife and a Vaishya wife. So from Kshatriya wife, he had Shurasena. Shurasena's son is Vasudev. And Devamida's Vaishya wife gave birth to Parjanya. Parjanya's son is Nanda Maharaj, like this. So they were brothers, cousins, Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva, and they were very intimate, close to each other. Not only that, but Vasudev had kept his wife Rohini with Vasudev. His son Balaram was born there. And also, this which nobody else knew, even Nanda Maharaj himself did not know, the life's treasure of Vasudeva, Krishna, he brought him in the middle of the night and he exchanged with Nanda Maharaj's daughter. And he placed his son next to Yashoda Mai, brought the daughter back, and that daughter, Kamsa tried to kill her and she escaped in the sky in the form of Durga Devi. So Vasudeva wanted to know, how is his son? Is everything safe? His sons, actually, both Krishna and Balaram, how they were. But he would not dare go to Gokul, Vraja, to find out, because he was also released after the Durga Devi told Kamsa that the person that's going to kill you is already born. After she said that, Kamsa released, and she also told him, don't torture your sister and brother-in-law unnecessarily. So Kamsa released Vasudev and Devaki. So they were back in their house now. This had been just like 5 or 6 days ago. So Vasudev didn't want Kamsa to even get the slightest doubt. He came to know that the person is already living, he's born somewhere. So he can even have his spies following Vasudev. Where is he going? Who is he meeting? To find out, right, if he has done some mischief or not. Whether Kamsa was suspecting Vasudeva or no, we don't know. But this is how Vasudeva is thinking. Vasudeva is so, because he is also, a Kshatriya has to know this diplomacy, right? And in what ways people can think. So he's thinking from all angles. So he wanted to be super careful to protect Krishna. He had taken the baby. He had actually done a crime against the king, isn't it? The king is Kamsa. Kamsa was waiting for this 8th child, and for that he had arrested Vasudeva and Devaki, and without Kamsa's knowledge, he took that baby away, right? He hid that baby. If Kamsa comes to know of this, can you imagine what will happen? He didn't care for himself, but he was concerned about what will happen to Krishna. So this is, of course, Vasudeva knew Krishna is the Supreme Lord, but his Vatsalya Prema as a father, that was superior to his Aishwarya Bhava, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he is concerned for the protection of his son Krishna. That is why he can go anywhere in the whole world, but he would never ever go to Vraja or send anyone there. So he was extra careful. So he waited for Nanda Maharaj to come from from after paying taxes to Kamsa. He would come back, then he would go and meet him. And again, when he got confirmation, yes, Nanda Maharaj finished paying the taxes. Now he's, in his cart outside, and he's probably going to leave now. So when he found out that, yes, Nanda Maharaj has paid taxes, now Vasudevji went. And how did he go? He went in disguise. He didn't want anyone to see or know that Vasudeva went and met Nanda Maharaj. Right? Although they were brothers, they could have met, but still, he didn't want anyone to know. So he went in disguise. So we also read, meanwhile, why Nanda Maharaj didn't come to see Vasudev? We discussed that also. Why Nanda Maharaj? Because Nanda Maharaj's brother is Vasudev. He could have just stayed in Vasudev's house, but instead he just stayed somewhere else outside in his cart. Why? What is the reason? Because he thought he has to go back immediately to Krishna, lest there may be any danger for Krishna. Why is he suspecting danger for Krishna? Because of fear of Kamsa. He understood how Kamsa killed the 6 sons of Vasudeva, because he's expecting the Supreme Lord to take birth, right? And then the 7th one also, he just got news that maybe Kamsa gave some tantra mantra, or he gave some medicine, some poison or something. Some way he got that baby. That baby just disappeared mysteriously. The 7th child. And then the 8th one was a girl, and the girl also flew away in the sky. And now that girl actually appeared as Durga Devi, and she said that the child that is going to kill Kamsa is born somewhere else. Now Kamsa is on the lookout for that 8th child. Where is that child born? Meanwhile, Nanda Maharaj is seeing that it's not that he's thinking this is that child, but it is possible. Why it is possible? Because, or at least he's thinking from Kamsa's point of view. When Kamsa is looking for Vasudev's 8th child, he may be thinking that this 8th child, he didn't appear to Vasudev, but he can appear to Vasudev's brother. Or it is possible that he didn't appear to Vasudeva and Devaki, he can appear to Vasudeva and Rohini. That can be the 8th child. So he will look for those who are near to Vasudeva. Vasudev's 8th child would have killed him, so he'll be looking around. And looking, he can easily find out where Vasudev's wives are and where his sons are. And he can come looking for them in Vraja. That's why Nanda Maharaj was very, very worried for the protection. Same, the concern of Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva is same, protection of Krishna. So Nanda Maharaj is thinking that he can, and also the opulence of Nanda Maharaj is now everybody, the whole world is able to see, because it became Rama Krida Sthala. That means it became a playground of Lakshmi Devi's pastimes. That means so much wealth. There was so much wealth now in Vraja. So who is that Lakshmi Devi? Supreme Lakshmi Devi, Srimati Radharani. So that is why Nanda Maharaj was concerned for the protection of Krishna. Anytime any danger can come, Kamsa's men can come. So even when he was leaving, he appointed some gopas for the protection of Vraja and specifically for the protection of Krishna. He appointed some Gopas to look out. And then he came, and he came for a short time. And he's thinking, if I go and meet Vasudev for so many years, 8 years, right? At least he had been in the prison. Now, if I go to meet him, I will have to pacify him with, pacifying words. It will take a long time. I won't be able to just spend 1 hour or half an hour and leave from there. It will take a long time because so much pain my brother has gone through. His sons were killed one after another. He must be so sad. He didn't know that actually Vasudeva was so relieved that his child is safe now. But this is Nanda Maharaj's feeling. If I go there, I will be held back. I won't be able to leave. And I have to get back to Gokul for the protection of Krishna. He was very eager to get back to Krishna. So that's why Nanda Maharaj didn't go. And also we saw Vasudeva came alone. He didn't bring Devaki. Why he didn't bring Devaki? Because he thought she's a mother. She knows that her child is kept with Nanda Maharaj. Vasudeva will not say anything because he's a man, right? He's a father. Even though he has affection, he can hide it. But a mother will not be able to hide. Right? She just gave birth to the child 4 or 5 days ago, and now still milk will be formed in her breasts, right? How will it be possible for her to not even ask about how is my child doing? Certainly she will say something. And then Nanda Maharaj will be confused. What's going on? What is she saying? And then the secret will be opened, and there can be spies who are watching, and this can mean danger to Krishna. So he didn't bring Devaki. Then Nanda Maharaj came. Vasudeva came. And meanwhile, Nanda Maharaj, although he finished paying taxes, now they have to go back. But he's meeting with his cowherd companions and he's talking with them in the cart. And he's all the while thinking, how can I meet my brother Vasudeva? I wish I could meet him. I came this far. I'm going without seeing him. I wish I could meet my brother somehow. He was just thinking, and all of a sudden Vasudevji comes. And seeing Vasudeva, Nanda Maharaj became so, so happy. It is as if life came to a dead body, right? A dead body is unconscious, but as soon as life enters a dead body, immediately activity starts. Like that, when Nanda Maharaj saw Vasudeva in front of him, it was as if a dead body got life. He just got up and went and immediately took Vasudeva in his embrace, embraced him tightly. Why Nanda Maharaj embraced Vasudeva? Because Nanda Maharaj was older than Vasudeva. So it is the older ones who embrace the younger ones. That is the etiquette. And also, we saw how Nanda Maharaj embraced, and in that, both of them became so ecstatic. Vasudeva also felt the same way as Nanda Maharaj felt. When Vasudeva saw Nanda Maharaj, he also became, for him also, it was like life coming back to a dead body. Why? Of course, he's so dear to him, but also his life's treasure is kept with Nanda Maharaj, right? So seeing Nanda Maharaj, it's as if now he will know about his son also. So Nanda Maharaj is very dear to Vasudeva, but also he has Krishna. So both of them became completely ecstatic. Vihvala, it is said. Vihvala means their throats were choked up, right? And tears were coming from their eyes, and their bodies were, their hairs were standing on end out of ecstasy, like that. Then we saw Nanda Maharaj received Vasudeva properly, like the host receives a guest, worshipped him, gave him a seat to sit, asana, and also he inquired from him, right? Nanda Maharaj inquired. Also, this is etiquette that younger ones offer obeisances and older ones, the one who's superior, he will inquire, how are you doing? How is your health? Like that. And after all this was done, now Vasudeva begins to speak. That's where we stopped last time. What is Vasudeva saying? We read the verse, but we didn't discuss it. So we will go to that now. So 22, we saw Pujitaha Sukham Asinaha Prishtva Namayam Adritaha Prasakta Dhi Swatmajayor Idam Aha Vishampate. So here also we discuss this Dhi. Dhi means what? Intelligence. Not that Vasudev's mind was absorbed in Krishna Balaram. It didn't say that. His intelligence was fixed in Krishna and Balaram. Why intelligence is said? Because Vasudev, when you say his mind is absorbed, means he will be so attracted, right? He will be thinking of the beautiful form, of the wonderful, sweet pastimes of his child, right? Thinking of that. That would be mind being attached, mind being attracted. But here for Vasudev, it is said his intelligence is attached because one of his boys he didn't even see. Balaramji he didn't even see so far. So what he will meditate on the pastimes. The childhood pastimes of, of any child actually. Pastimes means the activities that a child does in the childhood are very, very attractive to the parents, right? Just feeding the child and looking at when the child smiles, right? And looks at you. And then afterwards, when he starts speaking later on, these are very, very dear, very, very attractive to the parents. But Vasudev, he didn't even see one of them. And the other child, he just carried in the middle of the night and then exchanged with Yashoda Mai and he came back. So there is no question of his meditating on this beautiful form of the Lord and becoming attracted to his sweet features. That was not what was on Vasudev's, mind. What was there was his intelligence. How his intelligence is fixed. I hope they are safe. How will I educate them? They are going to be the future kings. So they have to be trained properly as Kshatriya, like this. And also, he was willing to support because compared to Nanda Maharaj, Vasudev was more wealthy. Vasudev was a Kshatriya. Nanda Maharaj was a Vaishya. So Vasudev had more wealth. So he was prepared to supply whatever is needed to raise the boys nicely. So this was what was there in the mind of Vasudeva. Of course, now Nanda Maharaj's opulence was like, Vaikuntha. His opulence was unlimited after Krishna's appearance. So that's why Dhi is at Prasakta Dhi. So that Vasudeva, whose intelligence was completely fixed in Swa Atmaja. Atmaja means his own sons. Atmaja, those born from the self, from the body, right? Swa Atmaja. His intelligence was fixed in his sons. In this way, Idam Aha Vishampate. So this is what he said. What did he say? Dishtya Bhrataha. This one we have to do. दिष्ट्या भ्रातः प्रवयसा इदानीम् अप्रजस्यते प्रजाशाया निवृत्तस्य प्रजा यत् समपद्यता. Dishtya means it is a great good fortune, my dear brother. Pravayasa means Nanda Maharaj had a child when he was, so whatever is the age to produce children, he was past that age. So generally, you have children at a young age, but Nanda Maharaj had passed the age, crossed the age when one would have children. And by this time, he had already given up the hope of getting any children. He didn't get any children at an age when people get children. Although he didn't lose the desire to have a child. He had a desire to have a child, but he had lost all hope of having any children. So now Vasudeva is speaking to Nanda Maharaj that you had given up all hope of getting any children, but at an age, right, when you had given up all hope, you had a child, right? So dishtya, this is by great good fortune, brataha pravayasa. Pravayasa means post age, right? Vayasa is age. So you had a child. Idanim aprajasyate. Apraja means without any child. So you didn't have any child until now. Until now means before this, right? Now your age is past the age when you would have children. And all this time you didn't have any children. Until now you had remained with the praja means children again, praja. Apraja means without any children. You had remained without any children. Prajashaya nivrittasya. So you had given up all hope of getting praja ashaya. Asha. Asha means what? Hope, right? That, oh, I will get a child, I will get a child. So you had even given up that hope. Praja ashaya nivrittasya. Nivritti. That means you had given up. You had lost all hope of having any children because you didn't have any child for a long time, and you were past the age when people get children, and you had already lost all hope of getting any children. Prajayat samapadyata. So at this time, when you had given up all hope of getting any sons, by great fortune, now you have a child. This is so wonderful, right? So now you have a child by chance. This is so wonderful. This is what Vasudeva is saying. This is very, very significant. What is Vasudeva's intention? So how does his statement look here? All he is saying is the intention behind Vasudeva is what he said. So the statement you saw, what did Vasudeva say? That you didn't have a child for a long time. You had crossed the age when one would have children. And you had already lost all hope. You had given up all hope of getting any sons, any children. But at this age, you had a child by chance. Oh, this is such a good news. This is our good fortune. Vasudeva is saying, by our great good fortune, you have a child now at this advanced age when you had given up all hope of giving children. That's all. What was Vasudeva trying to know? Vasudeva was very eager to get news about Krishna. But he couldn't forget about saying, how is my son Krishna? That was out of question. Because you see, walls also have ears, they say. There can be spies around hearing what Vasudeva is saying to Nanda Maharaj. So one fear is, if anybody heard Vasudeva even inquiring from Nanda Maharaj about Nanda Maharaj's son, that can mean they will immediately go and tell Kamsa, Nanda Maharaj, I'm sorry, Vasudeva, he went to Nanda Maharaj, he went to meet Nanda Maharaj, and he was inquiring about Nanda's son, how he is doing, what he is doing. Then Kamsa can go and send his men to see what's going on and find out about Krishna and kill Krishna. He was so fearful. Vasudeva was so fearful. So he wouldn't even say anything. All he said was, he didn't even say your son, if you see. He's saying Praja. Praja means child. He's not saying girl or boy. This is also significant. So from Kamsa's side, yes, he didn't want Kamsa to know. But also from Nanda Maharaj's side, Vasudeva was constantly in anxiety. First anxiety was that did Nanda come to know that I went and I took his daughter, right? To protect my son, I put my son next to Yashoda and I took Nanda's daughter, and that daughter, Kamsa tried to kill that daughter and that daughter disappeared. Did Nanda come to know about this? Vasudeva didn't know. He didn't know anything. Vasudeva did not know whether Nanda came to know of this or not also. So, if Vasudeva had said, I heard you had a son, you have a son and there's celebrations. If he says that, or how is your son doing? If Nanda had already known that Vasudeva exchanged, then what will Nanda think? Dekho, he's telling lies to me also. He knows that I had a daughter, he took my daughter. The son that I have is his son. And now he's acting as if he doesn't know and he's saying, how is your son doing? He'll get caught, right? If Nanda had already known. Vasudeva doesn't know if Nanda knows or not. So to be on the safe side, he's saying you had a child. So he didn't mention the gender. Is it girl or boy? He didn't say. So I heard you had a child and it's very good news that you had a child. That's all. Okay. It's good news that you had a child. So child can mean girl or boy. Right? So he said, it's good news that you had a child. Then the other thing is, by saying this, one thing is, Nanda Maharaj, if Nanda Maharaj had already known, then Vasudeva is neutral, right? He's not saying anything. He's not telling a lie, right? He's not telling a lie. He's just saying, I heard you had a daughter. That's all. Very diplomatically he's speaking. But the purpose of this diplomacy is the protection of Krishna. That's all. Then the other thing is, if he had said, if Nanda Maharaj knew it already, that that the child is Vasudev's son, that the child who is with him is now actually Vasudev's son, then then he would probably say, right? Oh, it is your son only. And at that time, Vasudeva would immediately warn, if Nanda Maharaj revealed that the child, I know it is your son who is with me, then Vasudeva would immediately stop him and he would tell him, never ever utter this to anyone, that it is not your son. So he would warn him seriously. So he wanted to know whether Nanda Maharaj knows it or not, that the child that is in his house, whose birthday Nanda Maharaj has been celebrating for all these days, is that child Vasudev's child? Does Nanda Maharaj know it or not? Vasudeva wanted to know. So therefore he just said, it's very good news that you had a child after a long time. It is by our good fortune that you had a child. One thing. And also, by saying this, generally what is the tendency? When someone has a child, if you want to inquire, if you simply say, I heard you had a child, immediately the person will say something about the child, isn't it? They will say that, oh, the child, is good, or the child is very, healthy, or he had some, he got jaundice, or he got this or that, or he's not drinking milk properly, or, right? Some, whatever issues you may have, generally you speak, isn't it? So there's no need to ask so much. If you just mention, I heard you had a child, then immediately information related to the child will come. So Vasudeva wanted to know, is the child safe? Is the child still there? but he didn't want to commit. He didn't want to say anything which would give even the slightest hint to Nanda Maharaj that this child may be Vasudev's child. Nanda Maharaj should not get even the slightest hint that this child may be Vasudev's child. Also, anyone else, if there are spies of Kamsa around, they also should not get any doubt that Vasudeva is inquiring about his son. So therefore, he said it like this. But at the same time, by just hinting it, he can get some information. Naturally, like a parent would say, yes, I had a child and this happened, that happened. If everything is fine, then there's no need to speak, right? If there is some problem, certainly they will say, isn't it? If you have some problem with the child, naturally, when a well-wisher, when a friend, when a relative will just inquire, immediately you'll say, no, he had this problem, that problem, this danger. You would naturally say. So that is why Vasudeva wanted to know about the well-being of his son, of Krishna, but he didn't want the spies to, and if the spies had overheard this, they will also not take it seriously, right? So that's why he didn't put any stress on this question in a general way. I heard you had a child. Oh, you didn't have a child for a long time. Now you have a child. This is our great good fortune. Like that, he said. My dear brother Nanda Maharaj, at an advanced age, you had no son at all and were hopeless of having one. Therefore, that you now have a son is a sign of great fortune. So he was saying, it is our great fortune that you have a son. But the important point here is, Vasudeva indirectly asked Nanda Maharaj whether he had actually begotten a male child or a female child. He said Praja. Praja means he didn't say male or female, right? So indirectly, he's also asking. So I heard you had a child. So then what will Nanda Maharaj say? Yes, I had a son. Or he will say, I had a daughter. Because Vasudeva is asking as if he does not know. I just heard you had a child. So now Nanda Maharaj will say, yes, I had a boy. If he says, I had a boy, that means he doesn't know anything. If he says, I had a girl, right? Then that means he knows what happened. He had a girl and Vasudeva had exchanged. Then Vasudeva would warn him. So he wanted to find out. So indirectly, Vasudeva asked Nanda whether he had actually begotten a male child or a female child. Vasudeva knew that Yashoda had given birth to a female child. Now, from what is our knowledge, Yashoda actually gave birth to Krishna also. But Vasudeva doesn't know that. You should know this. Vasudeva didn't know that Yashodamai gave birth to Krishna and Yogamaya. Vasudeva didn't know. He thought there's only one girl born of Yashoda. Okay. So Vasudeva knew that Yashoda had given birth to a female child whom he had stolen and replaced with a male child. This was a great mystery. And Vasudeva wanted to determine whether this mystery was already known to Nanda Maharaj. On inquiring, however, he was confident that the mystery of Krishna's birth and his being placed in the care of Yashoda was still hidden. So now he'll find out. By this inquiry, he'll find out that Nanda Maharaj doesn't know anything. He doesn't know. He is thinking Krishna is my son, and that's the only son he had. Not that a girl was also born and was taken. Nothing. He didn't know any of this. There was no danger since Kamsa at least could not learn what had already happened. So this was a relief. So by this inquiry, when Vasudeva finds out that Nanda Maharaj doesn't know anything, now he'll be relieved. Okay, so Nanda Maharaj doesn't know, that means the child is safe. So Kamsa also will not know like that, or it does not know. Until now, he didn't know. Then, okay, I'll read the next verse because we didn't cover today's verse, text 24. Dishtya samsara chakresmin vartamanah punarbhavaha upalabdho bhavan adya durlabham priya darshanam. It is also by good fortune that I am seeing you. Who's saying? Vasudeva. It is good fortune that I am seeing you. Having obtained this opportunity, I feel as if I have taken birth again. Even though one is present in this world, to meet with intimate friends and dear relatives in this material world is extremely difficult. So what is Vasudev's purpose in saying this? Vasudeva had been imprisoned by Kamsa, and therefore, although present in Mathura, he was unable to see Nanda Maharaj for many years. Therefore, when they met again, Vasudeva considered this meeting to be another birth. See, Dishtya means by good fortune. Samsara chakresmin vartamanaha punarbhavaha. Now, being in this samsara chakra, right, in this world of birth and death, to see you again now, seeing you is like rebirth for me, right? Seeing you is like rebirth for me. Upalabdho bhavan adyo durlabham priya darshanam. So if you had come to me before this, that's vartamana, at this moment, you came at this moment, this is so rare. If you had not come now, if you had, because from Vasudeva's point of view, Nanda Maharaj came to pay taxes. He could have come 6 days before, or he could have come even 1 year, 2 years before. Vasudeva would not have met Nanda Maharaj. Their meeting would not have taken place. It had been years and years before they had actually met, because Vasudeva was in prison all these years. So Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva didn't meet for so many years. And now they were meeting. And even when Vasudeva went to exchange Krishna, he didn't meet with Nanda Maharaj, right? So he's saying that, and if Nanda Maharaj had come also, they would not have met before. It is such a rare thing. It's like an impossible thing that happened. You came at this time. Just 5 days ago, Kamsa had released Vasudeva. And right after that, Nanda Maharaj came. And how eager Vasudeva is to see Nanda. Why? Because his life's treasure, Krishna, is with Nanda Maharaj. Right? So now he will get some news about Krishna's well-being. So he's saying this is like rebirth to me. If you had come before, it would not have been possible. Huh? So that's his intention. That it is also by good fortune that I'm seeing you. Having obtained this opportunity, I feel as if I have taken birth again. Even though one is present in this world, to meet with intimate friends and dear relatives in this material world is extremely difficult. Yes. So although they're staying in nearby places, still meeting each other would have been extremely difficult because of the circumstances. So one more point that the Acharyas state here is, Nanda Maharaj may say that, anyway, we'll cover that point tomorrow. Yeah, I will stop here. It's already 8 o'clock. Thank you all so much for joining today. We will meet again tomorrow. I will end the session here. If anyone has any questions or comments, you can stay. If anyone needs to go, you can go. Okay, no questions. So we can end here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Mataji.